Hello everyone at paulhobra.com. This is Paul Hobra here, and I'm sitting in the Bellagio, and this is my view out over Las Vegas. I had a wonderful little break here with the wife and I just thought a few times maybe we could think a little bit more about shockwave therapy. For a few people that have known I've been here, they've said this is where their shockwave journey started. And it interests me to think about shockwave in terms of there's still quite a lot of people out there that say, they don't think it works, they don't like the science. And yet, if you look at some of the studies around focus shockwave, what you'll see is that some studies show between an 82 and 88% success rate. So that seems like Disneyland, seems like crazy stuff, doesn't it? So you think about this and you start talking to people who are using it around the world, and many of them are saying they use it on just about every patient. So that in itself has its critics saying, well, how can it be so good? And it devalues it if you use it on a lot of things. Think about this. If we're increasing microscopic circulation, if we're promoting, transduction, and if we are improving the ability for our body's cells to regenerate themselves and grow more of them, then how can that ever be a bad thing? And another thing that springs to mind is when you look at scarring or cellulite or some of these other studies where we're actually seeing what happens on the surface of the skin. How can it be so good at those superficial, easy to see things, and yet people doubt what's going on inside the body? So sure, focus gets you more depth and it has more studies, and there's more and more people coming out, as I've been for some time, saying that focus shockwave is probably a better option for things like bone-in non-union, for the skin scarring and stuff that we've been speaking about, and anything where you need to get depth, and certainly for the osteoarthritic type conditions. There's some great studies coming out where people are looking at all sorts of things. It's got the the CE mark for Alzheimer's. I think Parkinson's is coming on board. We've got so many things that shockwave is being used for, and there's a new scientific study every other day of the year. This is incredible. But why, when faced with things like other physio applications or healthcare applications, why when we're faced with things like injection therapy, why when we're faced with many surgeries, our shockwave clinicians having to prove themselves time and time and time again? And there's also a bit of controversy with respect to people that look at the biopsychosocial model, that this is a passive treatment, and so what are we doing other than ingraining ideas in our patients' minds that there is something wrong? Well, you know what, sometimes there is something wrong. And sometimes by reducing pain, both short and long term, and by improving the rate of the body's healing capabilities, it's difficult to find a negative in many cases. So I just had some thoughts. When you go away from the office and you actually take some time, and I don't take much, you take some time out to think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and perhaps, none of us are truly altruistic, I don't think, but I think in healthcare professionals there's more altruism than we think. And, if you're not out there trying to make a name for yourself for being, I only do pain science, or I only do exercise therapy, or I only do ultrasound, or I only do shockwave, please be aware, I talk about shockwave and I'm an advocate of shockwave because I see it work 10 times a day in clinic. I just see the benefits to my patients. My staff have utmost faith in what's happening when a patient says, yeah, okay, I'm gonna invest in myself and do shockwave. Everyone kind of breathes a sigh of relief and we go, this is gonna be a good result. I genuinely believe that with that many scientific studies coming out, it's gonna catch up, and the naysayers are gonna end up being much, much more so in the minority than they already are now. Why do all professional sports clubs have shockwave now? Why do all the top, really top physio and osteopathy and chiropractic clinics all around the world now have shockwave? There has to be a reason. And if you're a naysayer who say it's about money, If you're a user or a patient, you'll say because it just gets the job done. So these are thoughts from Las Vegas on my last day here. Wonderful views out there. What an amazing place, adult playground. Had a great time, even won a couple of times on the tables, but people that win never tell you about their losses, do they? But we are actually up, so only by a small amount. So from Las Vegas to my Shockwave family, we've got 3 or 4 really exciting new interviews and videos coming on paulhober.com that will be with you before Christmas time. So look out for those and have a wonderful and very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.